Yes, YouTube, welcome back to another video and thanks for joining me. So in today's video, we're going to be checking out the newest addition to this room, which is my baby ball python. You may have seen a glimpse of him in one of the last videos, but we're going to formally introduce you so you can have a good look at him today. So if that's something interesting to you, then make sure you stay tuned. Without further ado, let's get on with today's video. Okay, so like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be checking out my new baby ball python today, but unfortunately he's not in this room at the moment. He's going through a quarantine period. The last thing I want to do is introduce any potential new diseases or anything like that into this room, especially with bioactive setups, just because it's such a nightmare, especially with mites. Try and get rid of them out your enclosure, let alone off the animal. So we're going to be keeping them in there in another separate room for the next sort of month, 6 weeks, just to make sure nothing gets passed on here. But on a slightly different note, now we've got the ball python, we've got some new ball python merch to check out. So I'll leave links in the description down for that, and I'll leave some images so you can see what I'm talking about rather than me doing this. So I really appreciate you going to check those out. Any of the money you put towards this channel goes straight back into the care of the animals, making this channel better and providing better equipment to make better videos. So thank you very much if you do. But I think that's enough of me waffling on. Now the snake isn't in this room, so why don't we go ahead and go and check him out. Okay, so we're in the other, well, technically now, probably second reptile fish room, but shh, don't tell my fiance. But it's probably not going to stay this way, and like I mentioned in the past video, the snake is in here at the moment. He's probably going to stay in here for at least a month, just for quarantine period. Just want to make sure there's no diseases, no mites, nothing else that can be passed on to the other animals in that room. But you guys are not here to listen to me waffling on, you want to see the snake, so let's get involved. Okay, so here he is, my male ball python. Well, he's a pied ball python. Both parents were pastels, I believe. I'm not going to claim that I'm the most knowledgeable person when it comes to morphs, because I'm not. I generally tend to go for normal types of animals rather than any morphs or any sort of genetic mutations, just because I think their natural form is probably obviously most natural. And I personally think that it looks the best, but in this case, it's probably one of the only morphs you'll probably see in my collection. Even with fish, I prefer the regular kind rather than albino and the sort of stunted body fish. And again, just because I think it looks a lot more natural. Now, this is an exception just because I kept ball pythons. I had 3 or 4 normal ball pythons as a kid. And these were before the days of the internet and loads of different types of research. So when I seen that you could get a different colour morph in a ball python, it was probably one of the most exciting things that you could have told me at the time. So when I was younger and I seen a pied ball python, it blew my mind. I thought, what is this about? And for those of you watching at the moment, or perhaps a little bit younger, you probably think, well, what's the big deal? These sort of snakes have been around for ages. But it was just such a stunning animal, and something just for more me, I just wanted a pied ball python, so that's the reason why. But as you can see, he's currently going into shed. You might be able to see his bluish eyes. Don't know if you can see that. But anyway, I'll check some, make sure I put some B-roll up so you can have a proper look at him. But so far he's doing really well. He settled in within the first couple of days. He was sort of cruising around his tank sort of endlessly for a while, and now he's settled in and he's finding his temperatures, so he's going in his cool and his warm hide. And he's also then at the moment going into shed, so he's spending most of the time in his cool hide, and we're going to add some sphagnum moss in there as well, just so we can help him shed and give him a moist sort of hide. So I got him from a website called Morph Market. A lot of you might have heard of it. Obviously do a lot of different types of snakes and reptiles. Now this was from a, well, I don't know if it was a company or his page was Derby Pied Pythons, and Afram was a great guy to deal with, and I'll put the links down in the description for his Instagram, for his website, and as well for Morph Market, so you can take a look. Easy, tiger. So I definitely recommend going and check him out. The quality of the snakes were great and the service was amazing, so make sure you go and check him out. But I haven't weighed him since I've had him, and he hasn't had his first meal yet. So when I had him from Afran, I think he weighed 156. So I want to get a new set of scales because mine is broken, so we can continue weighing him. But he hasn't been eaten yet so far. I'm going to try him to feed him tonight, and he's eating sort of small fuzzy rats. So I'll do a video on that if you want to see how he gets along with that, which is a bit nerve-wracking. I just want to make sure that he's doing as well as he can, and we can also then help him grow, and obviously we can measure his weight every month and see how he's getting along. So we'll do that as well. What are you doing, little guy? But so far he's really inquisitive. I think the first time I got him out, when we first had him, he huffed a little bit, but that was to be expected. He's probably just a bit scared. He's been moved around a lot. Now he did go from the breeder, from the carrier, and the carrier stored him then for about 2 to 3 weeks. And then he turned up unexpectedly one night, and for those of you who haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link down in the description for that so you can catch up on what's been going on. But, he's beautiful. But he's not looking as great as he normally would, just because he's a little bit cloudier, he's looking a little bit darker, but he does have sort of smiley faces on it for those of you who like that sort of thing, and I can't see them at the moment, so I'll put them up as well as B-roll. But really excited to get this animal finally. Now we do still need to get his viv done, and I'm still waiting on the trim for that. Now I will chase him in the next couple of days. Obviously it's been Christmas, so I can't imagine there's been any movement on that, and we need to build that out fully bioactive for him. But I think most importantly, we need to give this guy a little name, don't we? Because I'm fed up of calling him the little snake or the little man or whatever. So I've got a couple of names in mind, but as always, I'd love to get your guys' opinion on this. So he's going to be around for a while, so important we get this right. So let me know in the comment section below what you think we should call this little guy. But as you can see, he's pretty happy just lying on my arm at the moment, having a little nose around. But so you can see him a little bit better. There you go, you might see some of his smiley faces there. But I didn't get him for that reason. I love just the color contrast in the snake. He's like a mahogany sort of color with obviously contrasting with the white. And I love the mistiness around his neck as well, which is really nice. But as you can see, really strong. He's doing really well at the moment. And it's really nice to actually be able to get out to handle him at the moment. So I did leave it about a week or so just before I handled him. I wanted to make sure he settled into his new enclosure, because he's been through a lot of moving around over the last month or so, given he's been with the carrier and the breeder. So his enclosure at the moment is only temporary. It's more like a rack sterile sort of setup for the time being. Now, normally I would have liked to put him into his enclosure straight away, but that was probably a bad idea anyway. It was pretty good to quarantine this snake, as I said, just to make sure that we don't get any mites or any diseases passed on to any of the other animals. So he's going to stay in here for about 6 weeks in this setup. Now it is a sterile setup, which is easier to maintain if there are any illnesses or diseases. So we can sterilize the enclosure as well as any of the furniture in there as well. Now I'm probably going to get him booked into the exotic vet around here in the new year. Not that I'm concerned about him or anything, but I think with him being so young, it'd be nice to identify any issues straight away and we can rectify those. And just nice to get a general health check and know that everything's okay. So probably do that in the new year, and I'll keep you updated on that. But overall, really good. Now obviously I'm going to feed him tonight, and I'll do a specific video on that so you guys can see that. Once we've done that, I'd just like to make sure that he can go to the toilet, because he hasn't been since he's been with me, and obviously it'll be his first feed, and once that's happened, I'll generally be happy. So we'll get that done now tonight, and like I said, I will record a video specifically on it. But just a quick little video today. I just wanted to introduce you guys to this beautiful snake. Now make sure you leave your suggestions for names in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to pick the one that I like the most and give you some credit and give you a shout out on one of my videos. So as always, a bit weird we've been in this setup today. Obviously it's not the rainforest room, but obviously we have to with this little guy being in quarantine. But as always, I really appreciate you taking the time today to check out this video, meet this new little guy, potentially give him a name. But as always, if you can hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you haven't yet already. And for those regular viewers, if you can drop me that thumbs up and leave me a comment, show YouTube you're enjoying this sort of content, and it allows me to make more videos like these. But I think it's about time for us to say bye. 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 Bye.